Hello, dear students. Welcome to part 2 of Comparative Life Processes of Plants and Animals. In this video, we will focus on gas exchange, transport, and osmoregulation. Plants must move water, minerals, gases, and food efficiently to survive. Because plants do not have a circulatory system like animals, they rely on specialized tissues and physical forces to transport materials throughout their bodies. To accomplish this, plants rely on 3 major tissue systems: dermal, ground, and vascular tissue systems. Let us discuss each of these in detail. The dermal tissue system forms the outer covering of the plant and serves as the first line of protection. The epidermis is the outermost layer of cells found on leaves, stems, and roots. Its primary function is to protect the plant and reduce water loss. Stomata are tiny pores found mainly on leaf surfaces. Each stoma is surrounded by a pair of guard cells. Trichomes are hair-like structures on the epidermis. They help reduce water loss, reflect excess sunlight, and protect the plant from herbivores. Guard cells regulate gas exchange. When guard cells absorb water, they become turgid, and the stomata open. This allows carbon dioxide to enter the leaf and oxygen and water vapor to exit. When guard cells lose water, they become flaccid, and the stomata close. This helps prevent excessive water loss, especially during hot or dry conditions. The ground tissue system occupies most of the plant body and performs metabolic and supportive functions. Parenchyma cells are living cells with thin cell walls. They are involved in photosynthesis, storage of starch, secretion, and tissue repair. Collenchyma cells have unevenly thickened cell walls, especially at the corners. They provide flexible support to growing regions such as stems and leaf veins. Sclerenchyma cells have thick, lignified secondary cell walls and are usually dead at maturity. They provide strength and rigidity. Examples include fibers and sclerids. The vascular tissue system is responsible for long-distance transport in plants. It is composed of 2 main tissues, xylem and phloem. The xylem carries water and dissolved minerals from the roots to the leaves. Xylem transport is mostly one-way and upward. The phloem transports sugars, mainly sucrose, and other organic nutrients. Phloem flow is bidirectional, depending on the plant's needs. Now we will discuss animal circulation, which explains how animals transport oxygen, nutrients, and wastes throughout the body. As animals increase in size and complexity, simple diffusion becomes insufficient, leading to the evolution of specialized circulatory systems. These systems deliver oxygen and nutrients to cells and remove carbon dioxide and other metabolic wastes, making internal transport their primary function. Some animals do not possess a distinct circulatory system. Instead, they rely on body movements and diffusion. Sponges circulate water through numerous incurrent pores and expel it through an osculum. This water flow delivers oxygen and nutrients directly to cells and removes wastes. In Hydra, the gastrovascular cavity functions as both a digestive and a circulatory organ. As the animal stretches and contracts, the movement stirs the contents of the cavity, distributing nutrients to surrounding cells by diffusion. In nematodes and other pseudocoelomate animals, fluid within the body cavity plays a role in transport. As animals became larger and more active, more efficient circulatory systems evolved. Many invertebrates, such as insects, have an open circulatory system. The heart pumps a fluid called hemolymph. Hemolymph flows into the body cavity and directly bathes internal organs. After circulation, hemolymph returns to the heart. This system requires less energy, but provides lower pressure and slower transport. In a closed circulatory system, blood remains confined within blood vessels. This system is found in annelids, such as earthworms, and all vertebrates. Closed systems allow higher pressure, faster circulation, and more efficient delivery of oxygen and nutrients. The vertebrate circulatory system consists of the heart, blood vessels, lymph and lymph vessels, and associated organs such as the thymus, spleen, and liver. All vertebrates have a ventral, muscular heart that pumps blood through a closed system of vessels. Blood travels through 3 main types of vessels. Arteries carry blood away from the heart, veins return blood to the heart, and capillaries connect arteries and veins. Capillaries are the smallest blood vessels and have very thin walls. Their structure allows the exchange of gases, nutrients, and wastes between blood and interstitial fluid. Let us look at different patterns of vertebrate circulation. Fish have a single circulatory system, where blood passes through the heart once per complete circuit. Blood flows from the heart to the gills, then to the body tissues, and back to the heart. Amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals have double circulation, meaning blood passes through the heart twice per circuit. This system includes a pulmonary circuit, which carries blood between the heart and lungs, and a systemic circuit, which carries blood between the heart and the rest of the body. Birds and mammals have a 4-chambered heart, with complete separation of the right and left sides. Because of this separation, blood passes through the heart twice each time it circulates through the body, and oxygen-rich and oxygen-poor blood do not mix. The development of double circulation in birds and mammals supports high energy demands and advanced physiological functions. This double circulatory circuit delivers oxygen rapidly and efficiently to tissues. As a result, birds and mammals receive more oxygen per unit volume of blood, they can maintain a high metabolic rate, and they can sustain a constant high body temperature, even in cold environments. Blood is a specialized connective tissue composed of plasma and formed elements. Plasma makes up about 55% of blood volume. It contains water, ions, proteins, nutrients, hormones, and waste products. Formed elements make up about 45% of blood and includes red blood cells, which transport oxygen and some carbon dioxide, white blood cells, which function in defense and immunity, and platelets, which are involved in blood clotting. Gas exchange is a vital biological process that allows animals to obtain oxygen for cellular respiration and eliminate carbon dioxide produced as a metabolic waste. Different animal groups have evolved various respiratory structures suited to their environments. Despite these structural differences, all respiratory organs function through the same principle, as oxygen diffuses into the blood and carbon dioxide diffuses out across thin, moist, and highly vascularized surfaces. Animals show great diversity in their gas exchange systems, reflecting differences in size, habitat, and metabolic needs. Echinoderms rely on diffusion across epithelial surfaces for aquatic respiration. Some vertebrates, such as amphibians, may rely on both lungs and their moist skin for respiration. Insects use a tracheal system in which air enters through spiracles and oxygen travels directly to tissues through branching tracheae, reducing the role of the circulatory system in gas transport. Fish use gills composed of thin lamellae that provide a large surface area for gas exchange and employ countercurrent exchange to maximize oxygen absorption from water. Mammals rely on lungs containing alveoli, where oxygen diffuses into the blood and carbon dioxide diffuses out through networks of capillaries, supporting the high metabolic demands of terrestrial life. Lungs evolved as vertebrates moved from water to land. Early vertebrates, such as ancestral bony fishes, had simple paired air sacs with smooth walls that provided limited surface area for gas exchange. As vertebrates became more adapted to terrestrial life, lungs gradually became more complex. Birds have the most efficient respiratory system among vertebrates to meet their high oxygen demands. Their lungs are connected to air sacs that extend throughout the body. These adaptations allow birds to extract more oxygen than mammals. Birds maintain a one-way flow of air through their lungs, using 2 breathing cycles. This ensures continuous exposure to oxygen-rich air. As a result, birds can sustain flight and remain active even at high altitudes. Gas exchange in mammals occurs in alveoli surrounded by capillaries. Oxygen diffuses into the blood while carbon dioxide diffuses out. This efficient process supports the metabolic needs of the organism. The mammalian respiratory system consists of the lungs and air passages that move air from the nostrils to the alveoli. Gas exchange occurs in the alveoli, which provide a large surface area. The respiratory and circulatory systems work closely together to deliver oxygen throughout the body. Air-breathing mammals such as dolphins and seals can remain underwater for long periods because they have adaptations for diving. They store large amounts of oxygen in their blood and muscles, move efficiently by gliding to reduce energy use, and trigger a strong diving reflex that slows the heart rate and directs oxygen to vital organs. These traits allow them to dive deeply for food or protection without needing to surface frequently. Osmoregulation is the process by which animals regulate water and salt balance to maintain homeostasis. Because water is constantly lost through processes such as sweating, breathing, and excretion, it must be carefully replaced through food, drink, and metabolic reactions. Animals often live near water sources to support this need. In the previous lesson, we learned how cells respond to different solutions based on osmosis. In a hypotonic solution, water enters the cell, causing animal cells to swell and possibly burst, while plant cells become turgid due to the support of the cell wall. In an isotonic solution, water moves equally in and out, keeping animal cells normal and plant cells flaccid. In a hypertonic solution, water leaves the cell, making animal cells shrivel and causing plasmolysis in plant cells as the membrane pulls away from the cell wall. This slide explains how animals maintain homeostasis by balancing water and solutes between internal compartments and the external environment. The body contains extracellular fluid, like blood and surrounding fluids, and intracellular fluid, found inside cells, which constantly exchange materials. Organ systems regulate this balance. The lungs exchange gases and water vapor. The digestive system brings in food and water and removes solid waste. The kidneys excrete excess water and solutes as urine, and the skin loses water through sweat. The circulatory system connects all of these processes, ensuring that inputs and outputs remain balanced to keep internal conditions stable. Aquatic animals regulate water differently depending on their environment. Marine fish live in a hyperosmotic environment and tend to lose water by osmosis, so they drink seawater. excrete excess salts through their gills, and produce small amounts of concentrated urine. Freshwater fish live in a hypoosmotic environment and gain water by osmosis, so they do not drink water, actively take in salts through their gills, and excrete large amounts of dilute urine. Terrestrial animals face the challenge of preventing water loss to the air. Many have waterproof skin, exoskeletons, or outer body coverings that reduce evaporation. Water is obtained through drinking, food, and metabolism, while losses occur through respiration, excretion, and evaporation. Reproductive adaptations, such as internal development or watertight eggs, protect embryos from dehydration, supporting life on land. Osmoregulators adjust their physiology to maintain a stable internal osmolarity, allowing them to survive in environments with very different salt concentrations, such as freshwater, marine, and terrestrial habitats. For example, migrating salmon can move between rivers and oceans by actively regulating water and ion balance. The human urinary system maintains homeostasis by filtering metabolic wastes from the blood to produce urine. Blood from the abdominal aorta enters the kidneys, which are capped by hormone-secreting adrenal glands, and is filtered before returning to systemic circulation via the inferior vena cava. The resulting urine is transported down the ureters into the urinary bladder for temporary storage until the micturition reflex expels it from the body through the urethra. Animals produce nitrogenous waste when proteins and nucleic acids are broken down, releasing toxic nitrogen that must be excreted. Ammonia is the simplest form but is extremely toxic and requires large amounts of water for safe elimination, so it is mainly excreted by aquatic animals, especially fishes. Most terrestrial animals and some marine species convert ammonia into urea, which is less toxic and can be excreted with moderate water loss, making it suitable for environments where water is not always abundant. Birds, reptiles, insects, and land snails excrete uric acid, a relatively non-toxic, water-insoluble waste that is eliminated as a semi-solid paste, allowing maximum water conservation and safe storage, especially important in dry habitats and in egg-laying animals. Mammals and birds are the only vertebrates that can produce urine more concentrated than their body fluids, allowing them to excrete waste while conserving water. Mammals achieve this with kidneys that have many nephrons with long loops, producing highly concentrated urine, whereas birds have few or no long loops and produce urine only about twice as concentrated as their blood. Birds compensate by excreting nitrogen mainly as uric acid, which requires little water, and marine birds further conserve water by excreting excess salt through specialized salt glands near the eyes. To answer this lesson's essential question, organisms must regulate the movement of these substances to maintain stable internal conditions that support cellular function and overall survival. Without proper regulation, cells cannot perform essential processes such as energy production, growth, and waste removal. To check your understanding, compare plants and animals when it comes to nutrition, describe the function of stomata, and explain how water is transported in living systems. Thank you for listening.